This video is going to contain spoilers from the off, so remember, you've been warned. Following on from episode 4 of the show, where we saw Kendall and Roman's coronation as the CE Bros of Waystar, this most recent episode, episode 5, was titled Kill List, and it was one that was focused around power play, a retreat, and a seed being planted for division within the family. With the song Takeover being the first thing that we heard as the episode opened, it was the perfect choice to sum up the mood of it. Would it be Kendall and Roman, or would the takeover by Mattson happen? So with that, let's recap, break down, and explain all that there was to take away from this episode. So let's get into it. Here is Succession Season 4 Episode 5, Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. As we embarked onto the ending of the episode, we saw that the retreat that was taking place in Norway drew to a close. We witnessed several scenes which contained frosty negotiations, and you could really sense the dislike that was present within the room. Logan was once an individual that was in control, and he could handle these situations well because he had the carefree attitude of not worrying about others, almost how Lukas was acting in this situation, hence why he adopted that Logan role. He knew he could take advantage of that. Kendall and Roman didn't go down that route. They tried to, but they lacked the conviction as it didn't come naturally to them. Hence why they were called a tribute band, because they were Roys, but they were nothing like their father. The premise of the episode was about securing the deal and being able to get the most out of Mattson as possible, so that the siblings could make it easier for what they planned on doing with Pierce and ATN. However, Mattson now wanted ATN as part of the deal, and there was something about that which rubbed Roman and Kendall up the wrong way. ATN was originally carved out of the deal, and they felt as though Mattson was going to burn it into the ground, albeit unintentionally, so they wanted to keep a hold of it. But it was that initial thought which was what led to the plans changing completely, and Roman and Kendall deciding that they actually preferred sailing the ship of Waystar and wanting to back out of the deal with Mattson completely. Mattson was using death as a pawn in his game, and by utilizing it, we saw that it eventually got the better of Roman. Instead of going with the plan of drawing the deal out slowly, we saw that Roman let out his true feelings about Lukas, where he said that he hated him, and that they were going to draw the deal out so it would ultimately take too much time and then he would get bored and walk, showing his hand. The emotions did get the better of him, but we mainly saw that the grief that he said had passed within only a couple of days was something that was still present within him. He spoke his truth, as Logan would have done. We've had Kendall being a killer, Roman speaking the truth as his father would, so maybe next week it could be Shiv's turn. Even though the brothers spoke to Mattson in that way and essentially told him that the deal was off, we saw that he eventually went on to offer 192, which everybody on the plane was happy about. However, there was a side to Shiv which made it look as though she was being a bit sneaky, especially with Mattson saying that he wanted a photo of both Roman and Kendall's faces and she proceeded to send it. This was another power move by Mattson. He knows that the brothers don't want to accept the offer because they hate him and that they want to keep a hold of the company, so he's instead forced them into a difficult situation where the board will be pushing for them to accept the deal as it was far over what they originally wanted. But Roman and Kendall will be doing all that they can to not do so. So Mattson in this situation did get the last laugh of the episode. Let's break the rest of the video down by the main characters. I'm going to start with Tom because I feel he had such a good involvement in this episode, and it really embodied his position post Logan's death. Tom was Logan's second-hand man, and it's clear to see that without Logan, he's a lost puppy hovering from person to person, and seeing who will give him the attention and safety that he's yearning for. Even Greg is becoming aware of how embarrassing it's looking for Tom. Tom doesn't want to face the cut, and it's clear to see that. His wife doesn't want to be around him. Mattson and his crew were even mocking him on several occasions as well. So right now, there's a sense of emptiness in his mind, and he's desperately looking for where to go. He's an individual that's found himself in a situation where he's burned his bridges, but somehow we saw that he managed to survive the job that was hypothetically on the cards. There's definitely still more embarrassing times to come for him. Kendall and Roman. This was an episode that allowed us to see Kendall step into the role that he always dreamed of. As he was being cheered as he entered the room, it was the sound that he was always yearning to hear. Kendall wanted the power over the money, and we saw that he wanted to tank the deal in order to stay as head of the realm alongside his brother. Hence why we saw him getting Greg to leak stories out to the press, and also being cold with Mattson. However, we saw that he was blocking Shiv out of all of the information, something which it seems as though Kendall is always the first to do at the minute. He obviously needed to share with Roman, but recently when it's come to other decisions, he's been blocking her out. There were elements of clashing between the brothers, which I think could be a subtle hint to the disruption that's going to be caused in the future. For example, when they first started speaking with Mattson, they were both talking over each other and it was a little messy, as if they didn't really know their place. Then, at the end, when Roman went rogue, it showed that he acted on impulse, something which will most definitely not work in this environment. We saw the brothers trying to channel their father's mindset and wondering what he would do in their situation, which made me just think that they're trying too much to be like him, which I believe is something that will also most likely get the better of them, because they themselves feel as though they're this tribute act at the minute. Grief wasn't on the cards as much as it was in the last episode, but Roman, who was somebody that was over it, most definitely wasn't. And I believe that the photo that Conor sent to him of Logan in a kill was what put him into the mindset before the meeting on top of the mountain, allowing him to see who he was doing this for and that he wasn't prepared to let Logan's life's work be destroyed by somebody that he absolutely hated. Hence why Roman had his outburst in the way that he did in the conclusion. Shiv. Shiv has definitely taken more of a backseat in the past couple of episodes, especially since the brothers took over as head of the company. However, there's definitely some things that are going on with her. We saw her saying that her marriage with Tom was messed up and that it was completely over, which is something that is at the center of her story in this season. Right at the end, after she spoke with Mattson and gave him some advice on how to deal with the awkward situation that he had going on, he phoned her during the conclusion and got him to send a photo of the brothers' faces to him. She had a small smirk on her face, which could have meant a couple of different things. Either she's glad that they're selling because she has her plans and ideas with Pierce's, and now the brothers have been put in a situation where they're going to have to, or she's planning something. Maybe she doesn't like the fact that she's been pushed onto the outside, so the brothers being put in their place was something that was needed for her. Maybe her evening with Mattson also opened her eyes as well as his. We didn't see anything on the pregnancy being mentioned, and it's only a matter of time before it will be mentioned again. Overall review. I thought this was a great episode of the show. I enjoyed the humor, awkwardness, and beating around the bush that was happening in order to mask the uncomfortable nature of the interactions that were occurring for everybody in this episode. Whether it be the forging of the deal or the hunt to find out if one had been put on the kill list, we saw Kendall voice his intentions for the first time to somebody else, which I thought was interesting, and I was surprised that Roman was so on board. But now, I feel we're going to see the siblings in a situation where the best thing to do is sell, especially with the interest of everybody else. But Roman and Kendall won't want to, so conflict is most definitely going to arise, especially after the celebrations on the plane. Greg is well and truly trying to solidify the Quad Squad, and Kendall even stuck up for him, which I thought was interesting to see. He wants to get under their wing after seeing that Tom was a bit of a lost cause post Logan's death, so I do wonder if the Quad Squad will become a thing. I guess we'll have to see. So, there you have it. Succession Season 4 Episode 5 Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @brainpilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.